How's it guys, this is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video we're going to be going over my FPL predictions for the upcoming season. The season has already begun. I'm talking about the 2019/2020 season, but I'm going to be recording this video a little bit earlier so as a fair indication to give you my thorough predictions before the Premier League starts, and I can't really delve into the stats and see how the newly promoted teams and current teams are performing. I think this just gives you a fair indication of the timing of this video, as then at the end of the season we can hopefully look back and see how correct or incorrect I am. I thought this would be a good time to do this prediction video, as if you have not seen my previous prediction video, the title of the video is called Is FPL Scripted? We go over the BT script which was released a couple of weeks ago prior to the start of the season, and it is quite controversial as it uses stats and AI to predict the upcoming season in all aspects. It predicts every single fixture and therefore gives us a clear indication of where the stats kind of go. But as I said, it is quite controversial as it's heavily based on the previous season, so there's a lot of similarities between the previous season and the predicted one. But I thought that I would give you my predictions, as a couple of people reached out to me in the comments and said that they would like to see my predictions for the upcoming season, and I thought that maybe we can all laugh at the end of it at how incorrect these are going to be. As I said, these are my predictions, so I'm really sorry that if one of your teams I select gets relegated, or if a player you like does not get voted for the golden boot. So, as I said, just please keep a little bit of a disclaimer there, and please in the comments down below, reach out and talk about why I'm wrong and what your predictions are, and then we can kind of get a debate going there with not only me, but other members of the community. So, I'm going to be covering everything FPL based. I'm not going to be doing the entire log of the season, as I think that's a little bit redundant and for FPL doesn't really matter that much, but I'll be going over things such as the title winners, relegated teams, most goals and assists, and then most clean sheets. And finally, most importantly, I'll be going over who I predict will get the most points in the upcoming FPL season. So, let's get into it. Firstly, I wanted to say a big thank you to you, the viewers, for the support shown in our preseason. We managed to have 1.4 million minutes of watch time, as well as 300,000 views just over the month of preseason, which is absolutely outstanding and has broken records that I've set throughout my YouTube career, which is quite small. We started out last season, and to have reached the milestones we have in the preseason has been absolutely incredible, and as I said, is all thanks to you guys. So a big thank you, and I hope you've enjoyed and had a positive experience with all the preseason content, and I hope that you're going to be sticking with me through the upcoming FPL season, and we're going to have an absolute cracker. So the one thing I also wanted to shout out is that we have kind of experimented with live streaming this preseason, so I hope you guys have been enjoying those live streams, and I'm hoping to do quite a few of them throughout the upcoming season, hopefully maybe before deadlines or on a Sunday afternoon. But let's get into this video, and just again, thank you. This is my prediction for the top of the table. I've kind of just rearranged the usual top 6 sides into what I think will be happening, but just a special mention to 2 sides that I think will probably challenge for this top 6, that being Everton and Leicester. Both Everton and Leicester have made great signings this preseason and transfer market, and I think that they'll rival some of these clubs, especially the bottom clubs in this top 6. I just think that they will kind of challenge but not really reach the pinnacle of the top 6, but I just wanted to mention them in here, as I know that a lot of people are kind of expecting those 2 teams, Everton and Leicester, to do well. I've predicted Manchester City to be the title winners again. It's going to be their 3rd year in succession winning it, which is a record as no team has successfully defended the Premier League for 3 seasons in a row. I think Man City have not only added but increased quality to that lineup that won them the previous Premier League, and if that is the case, they're absolutely going to smash the Premier League, as they've just added on in terms of players that were already performing well. We've seen the likes of Rodrigo coming in at CDM, who Pep seems to highly like, and we also have Cancelo coming in as a little bit more of an attacking threat for that defense. I think that Man City will walk this season, and they should be doing well, and I'm sure lots of us are going to be jumping on their players. In second place, I have Liverpool, who are going to miss out yet again to Manchester City. They have made not that many signings. They actually have made a couple of youth signings, but no big signings, so I think they're going to kind of just replicate the form they had last season with some of their injured players like Oxlade-Chamberlain, and hopefully Naby Keita getting a more concrete position. I think Liverpool will still have a stellar season, but it's not going to be near in terms of quality to Manchester City's, so that's why I've predicted them to come second. In third place, we have Tottenham Hotspurs, who have also made some great signings, especially in that midfield position. They have some new attacking midfielders coming in, which might see the outs of Eriksen to another club. Remember that the Premier League transfer market might be over, but every other club in Europe still has theirs. So we could see the likes of Eriksen leaving, but that still means that they do have some quality in midfield. I think that Spurs are going to have a good overall season and hopefully will score a lot of goals and keep those clean sheets for our FPL squads. And in the fourth position, I've listed Arsenal. Arsenal narrowly missed out on the top 4 last season, but I think that they've added quality in areas that they needed. They've signed some more defensive stability, which is the area I think they needed. They've signed a new fullback and David Luiz from Chelsea, while adding the likes of Nicolas Pepe up front. So that's why I've added Arsenal in this top 4 position, as they've added on positions that they were quite vulnerable in last season, and that's why I think they can do well overall. The goal scoring department is still going to be good with Aubameyang and Lacazette, and it's now been bolstered by the likes of Pepe, so the defense should be more stable, and that's why I think they're going to have an overall better season than last season. Coming in at 5th spot is Man United, and this is quite a tough one to predict between 4th and 5th, but I think with Man United, they have bolstered their defense with the likes of Harry Maguire and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, so I think they'll keep a lot more clean sheets, but I just worry about their attacking department. They have released the likes of Romelu Lukaku to Inter Milan, and that's why I just worry if the likes of Rashford and Martial, who will be playing up front for Manchester United this season, will manage to keep the goal scoring abilities high for the Manchester United squad. So it's not really a factor if they're not going to be playing well. I'm just going to be worried a little bit about where the goals will be coming from, and if the likes of Rashford and Martial can kind of hit a little bit of form, they could easily challenge for that top 4 spot. But right now I have them at 5th position, and I can see them having an overall good season, maybe a little bit better season than last season, but still missing out on that top 4 spot. Then we have Chelsea, who I've put in 6th position, as I think they are missing the likes of a little Belgium called Eden Hazard. I think that's going to affect them greatly, as they were heavily reliant on him last season, and I don't think that the likes of Pulisic will maybe replicate the form he had in the previous seasons. I think defensively, they have a couple of worries with injury with the likes of their centre-backs, and with now David Luiz departing with them, they're going to have to rely on Kurt Zouma and Christensen for that centre-back pairing. Rudiger will come in once he recovers from his injury, and then it's just down to the likes of who Kurt Zouma or Christensen wins the spot. They seem to have kind of rotated a little bit in defense, with the likes of Marcos Alonso going out and Emerson coming in, which I think is a better defensive position, but it's kind of up front where I worry, and especially in midfield with Chelsea. They seem to have relied on the likes of Barkley and Mason Mount, who will rotate in that centre of midfield, and then we have the likes of Batshuayi, Abrahams, and Giroud up front, who will also rotate and hopefully score a couple goals. I just simply have put Chelsea in here at 6th position, as I can't really see how they're going to be doing this upcoming season, and I think out of the top 6 sides, they're probably going to be the worst performing. Now to go to the bottom of the table and our kind of relegation spots. Unfortunately, I've put Sheffield United, as many other people have done predictions. I just think that overall attacking and defensively, they're going to be a little bit short of the Premier League standard, and that's why I put them in 20th spot. Norwich, I think, will be good attackingly, but their defense is a little bit dodgy, so that's why I've put them in 19th spot. In 18th spot, it was kind of a deliberation between 3 teams, in my opinion. It's Newcastle, Southampton, and Burnley. I've put Newcastle in here as they have departed the likes of Perez and Rondon, who basically attributed to all their goals last season. They have signed a new £40 million striker who does look quality, but my only worry is he's an unproven Premier League striker, and if he fails to hit form, I just simply don't know when Newcastle's goals will be coming from. So this comes down to the main striker and main probably goal scorer for them being a little bit unproven, and if he doesn't hit form, I think that Newcastle will be relegated. However, if he does manage to pick up a couple goals this season, I think that they will be safe from a relegation, as the defense has still remained quite solid throughout the seasons. Having lost the likes of Rafa Benitez is also a big kind of a downer in my opinion, and we'll probably see that in the upcoming season, as I don't think they'll be playing as well as they have in previous seasons. So my 3 relegated teams are Sheffield United, Norwich, and Newcastle. Now going into the Golden Boot race, I've predicted Mohamed Salah to once again get the Golden Boot. I think that he's going to get off to a great start in FPL and hopefully carry that form throughout the season. I think he's going to make it 3 out of 3 Golden Boots in his seasons in the Premier League, and he's going to pip the likes of Aubameyang and Harry Kane to it. I think that all of these 3 players will have a good season. I think Mo Salah is just my prediction to do the best out of the three. I also want to mention that I think the likes of Raheem Sterling will also have a great season, but it's just going to fall under the likes of Harry Kane in probably the 4th spot. Now going on to the most assists race, I have Kevin De Bruyne as my number 1 assister for the 2019/2020 season. I think that his form and class just speaks for themselves, and another full season of Kevin De Bruyne is going to be absolutely spectacular for us FPL managers, and hopefully will offer assists to the other Man City attacking threats. I then have Ryan Fraser in 2nd place. I think he's going to continue the form he had last season, being one of the best assisters in the Premier League, and I think he's going to come in at that 2nd spot. Then in 3rd position, I have Raheem Sterling, as the Man City winger always plays that ball across the goal and feeds the likes of Aguero and other Man City assets, so I think he's going to have a great season once again in the goals and the assists. Now going into the most clean sheets, which is what us FPL managers want for our defense, I've listed Manchester City as the number 1 clean sheet holders, and they're going to beat the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United to it. I think that Manchester City's defense is going to continue the form from the end of last season, and they're going to manage to beat the likes of Liverpool to that kind of coveted golden glove if you're talking about the goalkeepers. I think Liverpool will have a great season as well defensively, but they're just going to miss out to the likes of Manchester City by 1 or 2 clean sheets. And the surprise inclusion here is probably Manchester United. I think with the likes of Aaron Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire added to that defensive arsenal, I think that they're going to be able to return to the greats of Manchester United defense that we all kind of know them for. And I think that they're going to finish in the 3rd spot for overall clean sheets. Now, with the most points in the upcoming FPL season, I have put Raheem Sterling over Mohamed Salah, as I think Raheem Sterling's assist threat is just a lot greater than Mohamed Salah's. Even though Mo Salah is going to win the Golden Boot, I think Raheem Sterling's going to have an overall better season and probably be involved with a little more attacking returns than Mohamed Salah. I think Raheem Sterling is going to be our overall FPL player of the year, and he's going to beat the likes of Mo Salah, who has got the most points in the previous 2 seasons, to that coveted award. So my closing thoughts here, as I said, these are just my predictions for the upcoming season, and I do apologize if you do support one of the teams I maybe said would be relegated, but you might also be predicting them to get relegated. So drop your thoughts and comments down in the comments below, and we can kind of have a debate, as I said, and tell me why I'm wrong and you are right. I always like to be proven wrong, so I hope that at the end of the season, when we kind of look back on this predictions, we can laugh and say how crazy I was to predict that Sheffield United got relegated when in fact they were going to win the Premier League. That is just an exaggeration, obviously, but I think a lot of these predictions could be quite close to what we're going to be seeing in the upcoming FPL season. Thanks for watching the video. Please like if you did enjoy it, and subscribe if you're new. Maybe you haven't seen the preseason content, so I'm going to be listing a preseason playlist down below that will hopefully help you make some decisions. If you're just getting into FPL, I recommend also subscribing and hit that notification bell for upcoming videos as I take you through this upcoming FPL season. But otherwise, I'm going to be signing off. This has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.